Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today we have the return of the Remembering the Past series. We've been neglecting this series a little bit. Now originally it was going to be the Hurricane Mark 1, but I figured I'll move on to Japan, and well, Japan does bring quite a few interesting vehicles which you can see below to the table. And whilst this is obviously near the end of the Remembering the Past series, because I believe we said we were stopping at China, yes we are. Well, China. Japan. Would help if I get the correct nation. But we are going to be stopping this series after the Japanese have finished. The reason for that is because, as I said, this is only a mini-series. This wasn't meant to be something that is like a huge series. It's just meant to be a mini one to really establish like what meant a lot to me when I'd first started playing the game. And Japan, surprisingly, brings quite a few to the table, although you'll notice there's a running theme here. So first off, we have the Ki-43-I. This is the first one available in the tree, and then of course, after this, we have the A6M2N, which kind of solidified my point for float planes. The Ki-45-Co, which, again, it solidifies my love for twin-engine heavy fighters. And then, of course, the most honourable A6M2 Mod 11, which this thing really needs no introduction. But we'll introduce the Ki-43. So this aircraft, as you can tell, is very old in my hangar because it has these bloody decals strung over it. I'm not sure why I decided to do that, but it was like 5-6 years ago. And this aircraft is definitely very good, even at 2.7. Now, compared to the other Ki-43 in the tree, we don't have as much power, which is unfortunate, but to be honest, this thing is nimble enough as it is. It doesn't need any more nimbleness or horsepower. You'll notice, however, in the top left, I'm running this thing in an unusual way. On this aircraft, you have the option of swapping out the two 7.7s for either a single 12.7 and a 7.7, or two 12.7s. Surprisingly enough, I prefer it like this, with the one 12.7 and the one 7.7. The reason for this? There isn't really one. I just prefer it this way. This tends to keep me in the fight a little bit longer in my experience, and even then, when it comes to the belts and stuff like that, obviously I don't know why it's gone to default. I'm probably going to set it to air targets in uni. As you can see down here, you can select the high Otsu and then obviously the two 7.7s. I just prefer having a good mix of both, so this is what we're going to be using it as. But it is definitely one that I think a lot of people are going to find interesting because you don't really tend to see people with this loadout. But of course, this will be nearly the end of the Remembering the Past series, which I'm not too disheartened about because I did enjoy revisiting some of these. And well, we get to revisit a few old but goldies in, well, some people might say this isn't a goldie, but I think it is. And that's the important factor here. Alright, let's get into it and let's get cracking because we've got an interesting plane to work with today. That's for sure. Of course, what you got to bear in mind is that this series originally was meant to be small. That's the entire point. I will probably think of other ideas which could be mini-series of their own. Might even bring back an old one, which a lot of people stopped watching because they weren't interested in it. I'll see. And if you guys have any suggestions, do drop it in the comments. Just make sure it's not naval, because me no like that. Which camouflage should we go for? You know what? We don't want to stand out like a tryhard, so these camos you can unlock by getting various numbers of kills, but we'll just go with bog standard. And it looks to be 3.3. And I think I'm the only Japanese aircraft on my team. But yeah, the story behind me and the Ki-43 is actually quite interesting because, as you guys know, I don't really like the later Ki-43, the one with the cannons, at like 4.0. And I know what you're thinking. What does this aircraft have that makes it interesting to get into this video series? Well, the answer is simple. When I first started playing, this thing, back in the days of arcade, had a raw rate which was near, well, I think it still is about double that, if not triple that. And this aircraft had a lot of fun factor for me back in the day, because it was very agile, it had the guns to do the job, and most importantly, it was just a lot of fun to play. Fun factor, as you'll notice, is also one of the many reasons why some vehicles may end up in this series. Because to me, when I was starting out playing, I was obviously very new to the game. And that meant that I had a lot to learn. And the Ki-43 definitely taught me a few things. Not much, but obviously that's where the Zeros come in. The Zeros later in the series taught me a lot. The Ki-45 later in the series also taught me quite a lot. You'll notice there's a running theme with this. And that's the entire point. Now what you've got to remember is that these vehicles for me were done in arcade, so it's very different to RB. But of course, the context still applies to the fact that I learned a lot from these vehicles. And I grinded the skins for this aircraft specifically in RB. I didn't actually finish it in arcade because I think the kill requirements were higher back then. I don't remember, it's been a long time. But the point is that when I was learning and trying to gain more experience in the game, this was one of the aircraft that did some of that. Like, I could have easily put in stuff like 109s into this series, which would be nice and all, but I just don't think it was really needed, because the 109s didn't teach me as much as you might think. Oh, he's broke his engine. How have you done that, mate? Okay. So, looking at the enemy team list, I'm not too concerned, and looking at our team composition, I'm also not very concerned. However, the BV-155 is going to be a pain in the bum, to say the least. I don't think he's getting home. I think he's left it a bit too late. Although he probably hit a tree or something. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, a lot of these vehicles in this series taught me a lot. That actually brings up a question. Audience participation in the comments below, once you've, you know, got a moment or whatever. Put in the comments, what is an aircraft that taught you a lot? You could also put a tank there if you wish, because a tank can also teach quite a bit. But what aircraft slash tank taught you a lot? And if so, what did it teach you? Anyway, now we've got to do the old zero trick on this guy. I know it's a Ki-43, but it's basically the same premise. Watching for the yak. P-39 is just going to extend. Smart play. P-3 is coming in now. Now, unfortunately, I don't really have much of a team to back me up at the minute, as you can probably tell. And their idea of double teaming me is cute, to say the least. But this thing can actually juggle quite well. I forgot I had my gun split from the other day. Well, damage is coolant, so that's at least something. Ow. Nope. Not today. P3 swinging back round. They all want to pass at me today, don't they? There goes him. There's Pechka, there's Pechka. There's 109. Taking a risk here. That's the why it's the risk. Nope. Now you can see where I learned a lot of my defensive flying from. He's doing a bloody noob wobble. That is so 2013, mate. I learned a lot of my tricks for defensive flying from this aircraft as well. It's a good thing to learn. Right, where is he? He's on my tail again. That's fine. The LA-5's in a stall. 109 shouldn't have a shot. If he does, that's good for him. Not good for me. Ow. If you suffer from motion sickness, that's why I'm moving the camera so hard. Because, well, like, you know what I mean. Like, I can't remember the term of it, but because I'm moving the camera that frantically, because I'm having a look round. This guy's sticking to me like fucking glue, isn't he? I'm having to maneuver the plane quite harshly. Okay, team's gonna need help with that BV-155. Nope, nope. You're just as maneuverable. Not happening, son. Trying to keep pressure on everyone here. Nope. 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 That's a tree. Only hits? Jesus Christ! That was close! Holy hell, that was close. I'm pushing my engine way too hard, but I've got no choice. Letting off the throttle here. How the fuck are we still alive? Go on, Corsair. There you go, buddy. Nice one. Whew. I don't know how we're still alive after that, but, you know. Kind of lucky, to say the least. Right. We need to get back some altitude now. This was not part of the plan, as you can tell. I don't know how we're still alive. We're actually quite lucky to say that we got teamed up on a lot. But yeah, that was a pretty fun engagement, I must say. So now we have the BS-180 to deal with, and he is diving on me. That's not fun. I don't really want to deal with that. It's a BS-180. They're known that for a reason. And there's a yak. I'm not worried about the yak, I'm more worried about the BS-180. The P-39 really needs to bring them down. I can't come to him at the minute. With the BS-180 keeping pressure on me, I kind of need him to come to me. And I think it's too late for the P-39. Yep, there he goes. That's unfortunate, but to be fair, there wasn't a huge amount he could have done there. He could have run away from the Yak 1, but it would have kept up with him in the dive. So there's, we can dawn on it all we like. At the end of the day, he did everything he could. So we've got this 110 coming in now, and we've got the BS-180 glued to me like butter. So this is going to get interesting. Right, that's a G. I definitely don't want to go nose to nose with that thing. Now we are very agile, but so is the 180. Here he comes. I was gonna go for a shot on the G2 there, but I'm not gonna take it. Oh, getting very brave with our maneuvers here. This is an old trick. I can tie that right now, but it's not going to work because this thing is a kite. Bit of rudder. G2's stuck in there. He thinks he's more agile than us. That's adorable. Newsflash, buddy. You're not. As agile as that thing is, it doesn't beat a 180. Well, a Ki-43. You know what I mean. Okay. What's he going to do? We're on 4 kills, 2 assists. We're only down to the MG now. Or the 7.7. I think we're probably dead here, though. But now you can see why I prefer it with the 112.7 to 177. It's because you can stay in the fight longer. Sure, you can do the same with the 7.7s, but we wouldn't have half the kills we have with just the 7.7s. That I can promise you. So now we've got a zombie to deal with, but the Yak one wants to keep pressure on me for some reason. I'm not sure why he's picking me so much, but, you know. To be fair, I probably shouldn't have done this, thinking about it. And yep, that's why. Yep. Oh well. We forced him to stick to us. That's the important part. And now the Corsair's going to kick his teeth in, hopefully. Did get some hits in at least. But hey, I don't give a shit. Let's check on the Corsair how he's doing. Where's the Yak? Yep, he's got the Yak. Finish him off, mate. There you go. Nice work. Alright, let's return to the hangar. I know I shouldn't have done that, but hey, we're having fun. That's the important part. Not meant to be here to, like, club baby seals or whatever. We're just here to have a bit of fun. And well, that definitely proved what this thing can do, to be honest. It's a very capable aircraft in this regard. But I hope you enjoyed seeing this thing dance as well as it does, because it can really do some dancing. But of course, next up in the series is the Boat Zero, or as some of his old veteran players used to call it, the Canoe of Destiny. It was made by Grievous from Mags TV's lot, which, yeah, it definitely earns that name. And yes, we will be taking the meme bombs, because, I mean, we're heavier than a normal Zero anyway. And no, I will not be taking the floats off, we will be keeping them on. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Ki-43-I, and seeing that hectic dogfight, which I hope I didn't, like, cause you any headaches or whatever, because of how hard I had to maneuver. But anyway, I'll leave you all to it, and I'll see you all on the next one.